Hi guys, how are you? How you doing? Hi Elizaveta, hi Mary, hi guys. Whoa, it seems to be a good time for a live stream, right? Because when I did it on the midweek at like 3 p.m. on Wednesday, I didn't have a lot of viewers. So thanks for joining, thanks for finding the time for me. Дякую, що знайшли час. Ми будемо у цьому ефірі міксувати мови. I will talk in English, I'll talk in Ukrainian, maybe in some Russian. Because my main goal is that you gain some value, you gain some information that can help you in your employment, with your employment. Як ви справи? How are you doing? How hope you're having a productive, or maybe not productive. Hope you're having a lazy Saturday. Hope you're relaxing. Write down how's your mood today. How you doing? Share how you doing. It's actually an interesting turn of events that's going on right under my window. People are watching at the top of my building and there's something on fire. Apparently an apartment in this block of the building next to me, in my building, but like a bit to the right, got fired up. So, and the rescuer, right, the fire saver, like, is working right now to try to get people from there. So probably maybe someone's there. So everyone's watching and I don't want to watch. I got things to do. Yeah. All right. So our topic, all right, 2 minutes before we start, write down how do you feel today? How's your mood? How's everything? Share with me. Як справи? Напишіть. I'm feeling awesome. Another day in paradise. Or maybe finally a weekend. It was a difficult, tough week and finally a weekend. And you decided to listen to me talking about work again. But I promise it won't be tedious. I promise it won't be boring. Everything is okay. Great, guys. I hope that you're in a safe place. I'm in Kiev. We have a sunny weather, which automatically aids the mood, puts like some energy coins into our basket, and we become more energized because of vitamin D. Yeah. Have you heard that in Poland they give vitamin D for free? Finally, we can see the sun. Yes, of course. Thank you for noticing as well. Absolutely. And one student of mine recently, she lives and works in Warsaw, and she says that all Polish people get vitamin D for free because they have a lack of, like, the scarcity. It's a fancy word for a lack. Через недостачу сонця. So I didn't know this fact that some countries that have some sunlight scarcity get vitamin D for free in Europe. Yeah, so she got some vitamin D. In our hearts, everything is okay. Okay, warm in our hearts. Yes, of course, absolutely. Okay, guys, so all in all, the topic that you have selected, because I've made this poll both on my Telegram channel dedicated to job interview preparation and here, and actually it was 11-10 in favor of why do I feel like I don't have like sufficient English to work in an English speaking organization. So it was almost a tie, right? And the second topic that people voted for was, what are the red flags, right? Red flags that will block you from getting a job in English, right? So what are the red flags the recruiters, the HR managers who hire you, who conduct the interview, look at, so that to kind of simplify their work. So if you commit something of this misbehaviors, right, misconducts, they will just, hey, do you want me to use a microphone? Let me use a mic. Sec. I have a microphone so that you can hear me even more clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Okay. So, and we're gonna talk about, why do you think, in my opinion, why do you think that you feel like you don't know English well enough to apply for an English speaking job? Why do you think, why do I think you feel like that, and why do I think that you are underestimating yourself? Чому я думаю, що ви себе недооцінюєте, якщо вже ви думаєте про роботу на англійській, а в той же час вас атакують думки, що ви не знаєте його до тої міри, щоб піти працювати? I will talk about like what to do with the thing. It's kind of two forces that kind of mess up with your mind. And and the second topic will be the red flags. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, so the question that I posed was sort of unfair and tricky, right? So it was a tricky question. What is wrong with me? Why do I feel like my English language is not enough to apply to work in an international company? It's already an incorrect formulation of the question, right? Because as we know, our thoughts govern our lives. So if you're able to flip your thoughts, you're able to flip your life, okay? So instead of asking you this pathetic, miserable question like, why can't I? Try to think of why can I still get a job without having a perfect English, okay? So why can you have a job without having a perfect English language? I believe that your main reasons to think like that is that because probably you're not confident talking to people in general in English, and you feel like, if I'm not able to verbally communicate with people, how in the entire world, how for God's sake will I be able to talk with business professional people, right? Because, and your other hypothesis, right, your other thesis is, if I can't communicate with my friends in English, how will I communicate under pressure in the working environment with professional people in specific industries? So it's super freakishly frightful. It's super intimidating, scary, in a different words, right? It's scary for you to go and talk to so-called professionals using so-called professional business English, okay? I'll explain you later why I'm doing like this when I say business English. And plus, you could also, you have doubts that you will, if you can deliver your high performance to be professionally sound. У вас є сумніви, що ви зможете вашу професійну кваліфікацію, яка у вас є, наприклад, на українській чи російській мові, так? У вас є великі сумніви, що ви той самий професіонал, у вас є сумніви, що ви той самий професіонал на англійській, який ви на українській чи російській. Якщо вам воно відкликається, поставте лайків. Если вы думаете, что вы не такой хороший профессионал в том, что вы делаете, вы программист, или вы QA-инженер, или вы маркетолог, или вы SMM-щик, или вы кто угодно,
и вы боитесь, что вы не такой профессионал на английском, как вы на in your own language, send me some likes. Okay? Because it seems this is the biggest problem. People feel like their professional expertise becomes nothing, right? Becomes just pointless without being able to kind of use English language, the language for professional communication. And it's true to an extent, but it's not something that you should just feel absolutely horrible about. Like I'll explain you later how to deal with all these feelings. So 4 primary reasons why you think that your English is not enough. Because you can't communicate and you think that English is super professional language in business that you don't have a hold of. You don't want to let down people who you're going to work with. You believe that your professional skills in English do not equal to your professional skills in your own language. And maybe you also, на українській це скажу, мені часто мої студенти, клієнти кажуть, що типу вони бачать когось, хто розмовляє дуже сильно круто, і їх це вганяє в депресняк, тому що якось це як поляк, чи якийсь там німець, чи голландець, з яким ви комунікуєте, він не офігенно на англійській балакає, а ви не можете. Тому усе, починається кошмар, начинаете себя кошмарить, типа, мол, боже, я на таком уровне, как немец, типа, не могу общаться или переписываться. Но никто вас не заставляет сразу сходу общаться на языке, который люди используют в своей коммуникации на протяжении всех лет. Вы, например, только переехали в Польшу, или какое-то время назад, ищете сейчас работу, можно начинать всегда с малого. Моя задача вам сейчас объяснить, как можно My main goal is to explain to you, people who can understand me. Because if you are listening to me, you already understand me. So your comprehension skills are good enough, right? Your ears work, your comprehension is activated, and you can understand me. And believe me, your colleagues, your potential employer, manager, or colleagues on an international team, they will not speak better than me, they will not speak faster than me. Maybe Swedish people will, if some of you live in Sweden, maybe in Stockholm, maybe Swedish people speak fast. Але якщо ви розумієте, що я вам кажу зараз, і у вас вже є достатній словник для розуміння, you have enough vocabulary to understand what I'm saying, that already means that you can, once again, you can work in an English-speaking organization. Ще раз наголошую, якщо ви розумієте мене, і якщо ви у мене у телеграм-каналі, чи слідкуєте за мною, якщо ви розумієте, що цей чувак вам каже та пише на англійській мові, це вже ознака того, що ви можете працювати у компанії, де буде основний єдиний язик англійський. Is this clear? Is this clear? So if you understand what we need to do, your main goal is to just work on your active vocabulary and learn how about native speakers in the UK. Guys, first of all, let me ask you to send me the questions. We'll leave this block for answering questions in the end, like in 20 minutes, okay? Give me 20 minutes, I'll talk, give you all I have, and you, as I speak, write down your questions and then send them after in 20 minutes, all right? So I'll address all of them. Cool? Cool. But that's a good one, Elena. Kudos. Yeah, when you send me likes, more people can join. So please, if you if you have free tips of your fingers and you can give me some likes, I'd appreciate, highly appreciate. Okay, I'm gonna start off by telling the story to cheer you up a little bit. How's it sound? Sounds good? So to cheer you up, when I was 22 years old, I was a fresh graduate of Kyiv National Economics University. Yeah, I wasn't I wasn't living in an English-speaking country. I was living in my beloved Kiev, and I graduated from the university, and I never had any luck knowing English whatsoever, like speaking English, because I successfully failed like all my English classes in the university. So I learned the language starting like 20, 21 years old after I have graduated from the university, okay? Now, and I was obsessively learning the language, and I knew that for me to, okay, I didn't know that, but this was a pretty good bet that worked. I wanted to get an English-speaking job. Somehow, I knew that I would be able to adapt, okay? And this was one of the best decisions I've had in my life. Because when you put yourself... Вы знаете, да, что необходимость – лучший мотиватор. The necessity is the best stimuli, is the best incentive. When you put yourself in the position where you already ought to, you already have to speak and use the language, you start learning it much, much faster. So, I just decided to go for it and try to pass the interview without even having the good enough English language, okay? And I went there and I took my chance, and somehow, you know, some miracle just happened, and I was accepted because the HR manager wasn't that good of a speaker herself. And even though the support team member position that I applied for, it required a deep knowledge, like a fluent knowledge of English language, the HR person didn't speak English that well herself. So maybe she liked me, whatever. I got an opportunity to work in this company without having a great English level, okay? And after I started working there, I started learning it like crazy, like absolutely positively crazy. Because when you're in this environment, especially in a professional environment, and you start being around people who speak English, right? All your communication, maybe not all your communication, because I was working with other Ukrainians, but all the customers, they all from the United States, and we all had to work on our game to come off. Because we even said that we are native English speakers. So we faked that we were English native speakers too. And I took it as a challenge, and I started learning the language so not to commit mistakes, neither in verbal communication nor a written communication. Okay? So this is just a story from my life, and it worked. It worked. You see? A lot of my business vocabulary came from this kind of sort of inevitable circumstances that I put myself in. You put yourself into this vacuum, right? And you start learning. So your main task is to get there, and you will figure it out on the fly. You'll figure it out on the go after you are accepted, after you have gotten into the after you will have gotten into, probably this is difficult tense anyway, after you get the job. Okay, hi guys, thank you for joining. Just to remind all of our new viewers, we're talking about the biggest question and the biggest doubt that people have regarding getting a job in English, if their English level is sufficient, is enough to get the job. And I will also talk about some red flags in hiring that recruiters use to not hire you, to not accept your candidacy. Okay, so I hope this story was a little bit motivating. Send some likes if you like the story, where you have to get inside of the organization, and then you'll work on your language skills. All right. Now, what inhibits you? What blocks you from your job, from acceptance to an international company? Of course, your confidence level. The confidence level is a psychological problem that we all suffer from. It's not like our self-esteem is stable in every human being got like a fluctuating, right? Like an unstable self-esteem, because we are just constantly, we can't help it, but we compare ourselves to others, okay? It's easier said than done. I always say that you have to compare yourself to yourself from yesterday, but it's easier said than done. Легше сказати, так, щоб не порівнювати себе з кимось. Але це у нашій природі закладено, і ми не можемо. Сьогодні ми почуваємо себе класно, завтра ми зустріли Таню, Люду, Сережу, вони там у чомусь крутіше, і ми підсвідомо починаємо себе порівнювати. Тому коли ви думаєте про те, що ось ця людина впевнена завжди, це тому, що вона, можливо, ще не зустріла когось, хто буде, who will bring difficulties for him or for her. So it's just something that you have to accept, that your self-confidence, that your self-esteem will always jump all over the place. And our desire is our main job is to look on the positive and try to find the best things to kind of motivate ourselves from within, okay? So when you think that you have a lack of confidence because you don't have a high knowledge of English, that is a misconception. We all have problems with confidence. У всіх у нас є проблеми з самовпевненістю, зі впевненістю в собі. Не думайте, що ваша не дуже ідеальна, крута англійська – це причина. Розумієте? So, it's an important thing to understand. So, we'll put this thing aside. We'll put the psychological aspect of this aside. So, your communication, and we're slowly transition to like red flags, right? So, poor communication is probably the number one indication for an HR manager to not hire you, right? If they see that you can't clearly communicate your truth, you can't clearly explain, like even your experience, that's a huge red flag. Especially for people who have a vast experience, who have a lot of accomplishments behind their back and under their belt, right? To use an expression, you have something under your belt and you can't clearly explain why you're a good fit for the position. That's already a problem. It's a problem not even in English, it's a problem in Russian, in Ukrainian, in any language, right? So also speaks to your lack of confidence. So poor communication skills, struggling to explain. The another thing that I want to point out, I want to underline, I want to pinpoint in this context is when you get the question, a specific question from the interviewer, and in your answer, you don't give a specific example, you don't give a specific answer, direct answer, that's a huge problem and it could be interpreted as a red flag. Розумієте, типу, нас може там у Британії, чи у Німеччині, чи у Польщі, вас на англійській мові запитують. Треба розповісти про найвеличніший челендж, з яким ви зіштовхнулися на останньому місці роботі та як ви вийшли з цього челенджу. And instead of giving a direct sample, a direct example, you start beating around the bush, you start talking in general terms. You start saying that we had so many difficult, time-bound, or so many projects, or if you're a designer, so many graphic design projects, and we had so tight deadlines, so short deadlines. So, and we were able to always send the projects on time, complete them by the deadlines. This is a generalization of the answer. Another red flag is generalization. Генералізація ваших відповідей. Взагалі, я завжди кажу всім, кого треную на співбесіди, коли ви сделали 3 прилагательных, да, сказали, какая вы, всегда давайте пример. Как минимум 1 пример на 3 прилагательных. Есть в Америке вообще школа мысли, что не нужно использовать прилагательные в целом. То есть вообще на собеседованиях уберите прилагательные и клише. То есть как бы когда вы используете клише типа self-learner, or highly motivated, or like irresponsible, these are all cliche statements. Don't try to avoid them the best thing possible. What's the solution here is to give a specific example of what you guys have made. And when you give an example, use a result-oriented approach. Okay, guys. So where was I? Yeah, so pull up clear examples, better relatable to your new sphere, relatable to the job that you're applying for. You understand? So, because if you set an example that these people from this company have problems with, what do you think they're gonna feel about it? They're gonna feel like, whoa, that's fucking, I'm freakishly amazing because this person have coped with the issue or addressed the problem that we have currently. And how can you know what are the problems they're facing currently? By doing a research. That's a red flag of red flags. Not doing a research, a proper research. Кстати, в моем курсе, который у меня сейчас доступен наконец-то по подготовке к собеседованию, у меня там есть этот блог, как делать правильный ресерч о компании, how to do a proper research in English, so that you foresee, right? You project the questions that can be asked. Якщо ви можете підстроювати відповіді на питання, на найпоширеніші питання, якщо ви можете підстроїти відповіді з вашого досвіду, який буде релевантний для компанії, в яку ви аплаєтесь, це тупо ace. This is like A+, okay? Alright. Lack of the ability to describe professional experience. No wonder. If you I already said that if you have vast experience, if you have rich experience and you can't tell about it, let's talk about an imposter syndrome for 1 second. Do you know what is imposter syndrome? Send likes if you know. На українській мові синдром зменшеної вартості чи на русском синдром самозванца. Знаете, что такое? Еще есть эффект Даннинга-Крёгера, тоже такой известный. Психологический феномен, при котором, знаете, да, отправляете лайки. So it's a psychological phenomenon where people, for some reason, think less of themselves than they actually are. And I especially see this among Ukrainians. For some reason, we feel like we know less than we really do. And we tend to underestimate. We tend to be humble. You know, first of all, in culturally wise, speaking of the culture, I understand that it's not like a widespread thing in Ukraine for Ukrainians to boast, right? To brag. But guys, in Europe and in Ukrainian, we have in the United States, they all brag. They're not shying away from telling about like how cool they are, how accomplished they are, how professional they are. So we should. I had problems with that myself. I can't say that I'm so perfect in this respect. I also had the problem with this. We have to learn how to feel good, like put our best foot forward, like present ourselves and not be humble, not be shy, speaking of something that we're truly worth of. We are worthy of the best, so we gotta be able to position ourselves without any without this any insecurities. Because this is what it is. Insecurities, комплекси. Ми чомусь думаємо, що розповідати про себе на співбесіді і просто перераховувати усі свої досягнення, це, типу, нахвалювати себе. Ні, це нормально. Це нормально. We can use like more of a like objective language and some phrases that you can use to sound more professional. But I mean, in general, we gotta start bragging, pretty much. So, ability to describe professional experience. Not being shy. Okay, being arrogant also could be a problem, but it's better to be more arrogant, right, than be super freakingly shy. Okay, it also depends on the culture, because if you're in Norway, for example, or if you're in Sweden, I think it would be better maybe to use like this average sort of stylistic approach in terms of like how confident you are. Like, you gotta be confident, but I mean the choice of the words might be different from, for example, if you work with Americans. So also, like in my entire approach, and actually the new course on job interview preparation, the core idea of everything, the core idea of our universe, in job employment universe, is that you have to personalize, that you have to tailor, you have to cater your whatever it is, application, including CV, cover letter, LinkedIn profile page, even your experience and how you talk, you have to tailor it for the position that you apply for. Треба персоналізувати. Треба, це не просто, особливо коли ти відправляєш там на 10, на 20 вакансій. Але якщо в тебе є там розуміння, що ось ці топ-3 компанії, в яких ви хочете працювати, і ви, наприклад, маєте досвід, і ви знаєте, що якщо правильно спозиціонувати ваші резюме, супровідний летер та так далі, і вас запросять, розумієте, для цього можна вже напрягтися і підстроїти усе, що ви робите, під конкретний опис вакансії, під конкретний опис культури організації, і взагалі можна навіть стилістично, тому що вчора я редагував супровідний letter, I edited a cover letter for a lady. She's applying to this company where they use a lot of colloquial language, sort of a street language. They're not super uptight. They're not like they're super political even, Their language is more relaxed and it's more of a, like slang usage and stuff like that. So I did what I did. I put these cool collocations and idioms inside of her cover letter because they speak to their employees like that. So if you kind of beat them to this concept, you're going to win their heart. Because if they speak, we don't want to fake. If you use only business terms and professional language, it's okay. But why not increase your chances by using some cool word that is not necessarily super professional or super business-like, So yeah, personalize, tailor to a specific job description and company description. For doing your research, don't only check the description of the vacancy, check the company. Check the description of the company, okay? Because it's the same people write the description of their HR brand, and the same people most likely going to conduct the interview, okay? Okay. We're gonna get 5 more minutes, and we'll get to your questions. Okay, guys. If you find this stream useful, send me some likes. I appreciate your appreciation. Yeah. Okay. By the way, guys, I for this course that will be out on March 5th, a complete course for job interview preparation in English. I do like this I decided to open like a consultations format for all the people who have doubts if they need the course or not. So on my Telegram group after this live stream, I'm gonna send like a link to sign up for book a free consultation with me. For 15 minutes, you can talk to me and we will decide if the course that I have prepared could be will be useful for you. Okay? Тому, якщо вам потрібна моя допомога і моє наставництво у підготовці до ваших кар'єрних цілей, у мене зараз я запустив курс вчора, і він стартує. Вчора я виставив його на продажі, і він стартує 5-го, і у мене є консультації, і ми можемо з вами 15 хвилин побалакати безкоштовно, щоб я вам на будь-якій мові, і у вас з будь-яким левелом англійської, ми з вами зможемо зрозуміти, чи є фіт, чи зможе цей курс вам допомогти. До речі, курс буде з українськими субтитрами, з англійськими та українськими. Коротше, про нього ще пізніше. Отже, and also not being able to answer the questions that you are asked. For example, if you're asked the question about your salary expectations, and I want you guys to... You're welcome, guys, you're welcome. So, питання про зарплатні очікування. Ось, чому ось з цим питанням така, проблема? Хоча мені часто кажуть, що невелика проблема з питаннями про софт-скіли, але багато у людей також, a lot of people get really scared up by the question on salary. If you don't know, it's a general statement, if you don't know how much money you want to earn, Houston, we got a problem. Okay? Because, you see, result-oriented people or people who just know what they want, like, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna repeat myself, but if you don't know what you want, this could be a huge red flag for an employer, right? If you don't know how much money you want to earn, this could be a big red flag. So don't be shy having the number in your mind. Of course, it should be based on your living, the costs of your living, right? It should be based on the experience that you have. It should be based on the prior research. It should be based on the research of the market. But you have to have the number, because if you answer to this question, what are your salary expectations, and you say, it depends, maybe we can negotiate something, I'm open to negotiation. No. Have the number in your mind, understand why you have this number, and be ready to kind of combat, to address their question if they ask why, all right? Or I don't know, there's not going to be any tricky question after that. Usually after if I want too much and this company will refuse me. Well, Oksana, let me first, I'm gonna, give me like 3 more minutes, I'm going to reply to this. So what our last? Okay, and other dumpers, and we're gonna start with your questions, okay? And real quick, 3 more dumpers that can dumper your job interview process. Being super negative about things, right? Putting lying judgment on other people, especially for organizations that value their organizational culture and team building stuff. If you don't mention any of your former teammates, so if you are egocentric, right? You wanna recognize, you want to give credit to your former colleagues. Якщо ви йдете у компанію, яка супер про команду, про культуру, і ви у своїх відповідях завжди використовуєте слово «я», а не «ми». Я. Ой. Друзья, если используете сильно много «я», вот как я, да, кажется, что вы немного эгоцентричны. Поэтому особенно в компаниях, которые нацелены на командную игру, вам нужно использовать «мы», или мои коллеги были замечательные, они помогли мне. То есть это дает понимание того, что вы командный игрок, okay? So it gives them an understanding that you're not egocentric, because some companies they can't stand egocentric people. However, at the same time, egocentric people usually tend to drive high performance in terms of like their specific job responsibilities. So a lot of people who are egocentric perform well, but again, they might not gel well, they might not cooperate well with their teammates. They're not good team members. And yeah, that would be all, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. Now let's get down to your questions, okay? I'm gonna make a sip of tea. Друзі, я вам взагалі корисно, що я інколи ось переключаюся на українську мову. Ви розумієте, я просто не до кінця... Я б міг навіть курс зробити на українській, весь свій курс, де там є приклади відповіді на питання і так далі, я б міг зробити його на українській, але навіщо, якщо ви будете розмовляти на англійській і проходити співбесіду на англійській? So we'll stick to English as our primary language. Okay, let's get back to answering your question. The first question was regarding the UK. Alona, how about native speakers in UK? You asked me how about the native speakers in UK? I forgot what was your question specifically. Oh, you asked, what did you ask? How about native speakers in UK? Alena, can you kind of elaborate on your question? Send me more comprehensive question. Only English is okay. Okay, Oksana. Ksu, live pages. Answering your question, if I want too much, T-O-O, too much, right? And this company will refuse me. Oksana, again, depends on your current circumstances. Okay? This is also very important thing to understand. Like, if you are in this position where you desperately need the job and you don't have the time, right? You're not a career switcher. You're not switch from one company to another. You desperately looking for a paycheck. You have to take this into account, take this into consideration before you do pretty much everything, right? But if you do have the time and the position that you apply for is not unique, it's not one of a kind, right? There are other positions, then you probably shouldn't be frightened about them saying no. Okay? Because if there are other companies and it's not mandatory, it's not imperative, не обов'язково йти саме в цю компанію. У вас ще є варіанти. Because at the end of the day, if you get paid less than you deserve, then you feel like you should be paid for this set of responsibilities, how are you gonna feel? You know, the energy, the law of the energy, you can't be paid less than you give. Это то же самое с моим курсом. Я хотел поставить его там типа $49, но по закону энергии, так как в нем очень много инфы, у меня минимальный пакет стоит $100. Да? Потому что по закону энергии мы не можем зарабатывать меньше, чем мы отдаем в пространство. Это метафизическая такая, да, тема. So how you gonna feel if you imagine if you've come back home drained you come back home drained after work, and you know that you're not paid enough at the end of the week, at the end of the month. Okay? So for me, it's better to take a chance and get rejected. And if you have other companies, get rejected. Maybe adjust your price a little bit. But again, you will be able to sell yourself if you prepare well enough. Если вы подготовитесь, да, желательно с кем-то, например, со мной, то вы сможете себя продать на тот ценник, который вы заявите. То есть тут проблема не в том, что высокий ценник. Ценник вы знаете свой, потому что вы знаете, что вы столько стоите. У вас проблема в том, что нужно заточить все ответы на все вопросы и знать, как себя презентовать. Вот в этом главная задача. Guys, more questions. Okay, understand them. I'm understanding you, but don't understand them. How can I be confident to apply? Do you live in the Great Britain? You live in England? Алена, живете в Англии, да? Okay. Hi, Svetlana. Once again, we're talking about how Ukrainians all over the world who think that they don't have enough English language can get to an English-speaking organization. And я еще повторю разочек, что так как вы меня понимаете, это лишь идентифицирует факт, как бы это лишь подтверждает факт того, что у вас есть эти слова, они находятся у вас в пассивной памяти. Okay, so how can I become? Elena, once again, you have to prepare. Just like let me give you a metaphor. You're preparing to run a marathon, 24 kilometers, and you run. You know how to run. Maybe you ran 5 kilometers, maybe you ran 7 kilometers, but there are techniques to running, to breathing, right? To pacing yourself that you can learn on your own, but it will take longer. Or you can get a coach, a running coach, who will, with practice, teach you how to prepare for running a marathon, right? So it's not only about your physical conditions. Just like in English, it's not solely about knowing the language, it's knowing the techniques that you can use, right? Just like I explain my students how to formulate their thoughts. Есть техники по тому, как вы можете выиграть для себя больше времени. Есть техники для того, как не показаться глупым, пока вы думаете, да? То есть all these are techniques. Есть конкретные цепочки, шаблоны, формулировки ваших предложений на английском. Specific kind of conjunctions, specific templates that you can use to kind of come off as a good enough speaker. Вдобавок к этому, in addition to that, people give second English speakers a benefit of the doubt. Okay? No one expects you to be perfect because they don't think that you are a native English speaker. They understand that you are a foreigner. That's why they give you a benefit of the doubt. Вони дають вам дисконт. Але ви не повинні показатися дуже невпевненими. Ви навпаки повинні впевненість вашу демонструвати навіть з неідеальним знанням. Навіть якщо ви робите помилки, розумієте? Ви навіть можете це сказати. Це дуже класна фраза, яку б я вам усім рекомендував на якомусь етапі казати усім, з ким ви комунікуєте у бізнесі. I would recommend all of you say a phrase like this. I know that my English isn't imperfect right now. It's still not perfect. But I do my best and I'm positive, okay, I'm sure that shortly or soon enough I will speak super comfortably. And I thank you for your support. Розумієте, коли ви людям показываете свою, вот когда вы людям показываете, это в принципе по жизни работает, психологически люди не помогут, пока вы не поднимете руку. Это то, что нас на психологических тренингах учили, на левелапе, на апгрейде, куда я ездил. Пока вы не попросите, никто сам телепатически не поймет, что вам нужна помощь. И никто сам телепатически не поймет, что нужно там немножко с вами, может, говорить медленно. Если вы скажете, что вот я пока учу, но я типа классный профессионал своего дела, я знаю все это, я знаю там мат-часть, да, техническую часть. Вы программист или вы там бухгалтер, вы знаете мат-часть, вы технически все офигенно рубите, чуть-чуть надо дать мне подучить английский. Все. Человек понимает это, и он, если он не полный мудак, он поможет вам. Понимаете? So, always show that, don't be afraid to show vulnerability, always say that you still learn, that you are in the process of learning. And you deeply appreciate people who support you, okay? Who help you on this journey. Maybe more of a psychological question. How to calm down yourself before the interview? As the state really influenced me and my answers. Okay. Aliska, where are you now? Also in an English-speaking country? Or in Europe, but not like... Anyway. So the question is how to calm yourself down psychologically when you get a cold feet. You know this expression, cold feet? Energy is everything. So actors are taught. This is something that an actor told me, that they're being told that if they're not nervous before the stage performance, they're gonna suck. They might not even get on stage because their supervisor or their director won't let them out on stage if they're not nervous. Because nervousness, anxiety, is the sign of what? Correct. It's a sign that you filled up with energy, right? And the job of the actor is to transform, kind of translate the energy, flip this anxiety and make it like a positive energy that he gives out to the audience. Понимаете? Если актер не нервничает, есть проблема. Он должен нервничать, но вы при выходе на сцену весь этот трепет и все эти нервы надо convert into energy that you give out during the conversation. So, point number one, anxiety, nervousness is not even just fine, it's necessary, okay? Then, how about taking a couple of deep breaths? Always helps, right? In my case, I always start with something that I'm really good at. For me, it's something that gets me going. What helps me, Aliska, is to say something, maybe your go-to phrase, your favorite phrase, or maybe maybe you ask them a question. You know, something that will warm you up and kind of will get you going. I always give a basketball example. Like, to start playing well, you have to make your first shot, right? And you don't have to make your first shot from the 3-point line. You should make a layup. So it will get you going. So you start with small wins. Ви починаєте з малих перемог. Ви кажете якісь речення, якісь, можливо, класну ідіому якусь, скажіть на англійській, яка сподобається, можливо, шутка. Якщо ви починаєте з шуточки, if you start with a joke, even like if the interviewer is a good human being, not a douchebag, this will only add some points and that will get you going. So you need something to get you going, that you're super comfortable in the beginning, and then build up on that. So always build up in your job interviews, start with some small wins and build and go from there. And breathe. You know everything. Don't be afraid to say, I'm sorry, can you give me 1 minute? Or give me just 1 second to gather my thoughts. It's okay. Це взагалі супер класна штука. Дайте мені хвилиночку, я дуже розхвилювався. В 1 хвилиночку, щоб я зібрався. It's okay. Give me 1 second, I'll compose myself. Right? You smile, and then you start speaking. So, this is just off the top of my head. У моєму курсі є техніки щодо психологічних технік, психологічних вправ, які допомагають усі ці штуці. Це все також я запаковую у свій курс, який розпочнеться 5 березня. На правах реклами стартую курс по підготовці до співбесід на англійській мові. І у мене є консультації. Зараз ви можете зарезервувати консультацію, і якщо ви не впевнені, ми з вами побалакаємо на предмет того, чи вам цей курс допоможе. У мене є 4 пакети, 1 без мене, але з моїми текстовими повідомленнями. Ви отримаєте доступ, у вас будет 25 предзаписанных занятий, там примеры ответов на главные вопросы, всякие психологические техники, формулировки на английском, 24 предзаписанных урока от меня с субтитрами на украинском. Так? Это без меня, но с поддержкой со мной в Телеграме, переписка. И есть 2 пакета, где есть часовые индивидуальные коучинговые сессии со мной. То есть вы проходите занятия, потом мы с вами садимся и проводим симуляцию собеседования. Я вас коррегирую, мы с вами пишем ваши собеседования, смотрим на вакансии, которые вы хотите податься, пишем вам сопроводительное. То есть 2 пакета с моими индивидуальными ведениями. Окей? Просто чтобы вы понимали, что есть у меня курс, я его вчера открыл продажи, и я скину ссылочку сегодня везде в историях, и в телеграм-группе, которую по марафону я делал. Okay? What are some practical steps I can take to cultivate growth mindset and approach challenges with proactive attitude? Ooh, such a good question. 1 second. You see? 1 second. If I can take 1 second before answers, you can do it too at your job interview. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hi guys, thank you for joining. Once again, we're discussing how can we prepare for a job interview in English here. Okay, so Igor is asking me what are some practical steps that I can take to cultivate a growth mindset and approach challenges with proactive attitude. Well, man, a proactive attitude is something that you already have already cultivated or not. It's not like, because we know Stephen Covey, right? Have you read this book, 7 Habits of Highly Efficient People by Stephen Covey? And his first lesson is to be proactive. So what is proactive? It's versus reactive. Proactive as opposed to reactive is our ability to think before we do something, right? Reactive is decisions that you make based on the impulse. Proactive is understanding that you gotta, count till 10. Here's an advice for you. Count till 10 before you answer or make a decision. So that will help our proactive mindset. Practical steps to cultivate growth mindset. Well, you just have to learn as crazy. For me, you see, we live in an ever-changing world. We live in this world right now that is super, what is this beautiful word? Well, you see, for me, if you don't have it, it's difficult to become this, right? But you can still become. You can make yourself read more. You can make yourself follow people who are always on top of things, right? Because that's what I do. For me, even though I'm not into these latest technologies too much, because I'm not the youngster, I'm not a millennial. No, I'm a millennial, I'm 32 now, but like these people who are 20 years old, that their technologies are a bit too much for me. Snapchat and stuff and other things. So, but you can follow people who are always on top of things, right? And if you follow people with growth mindset, if you surround yourself with people who only strive for more and more and more, if they compare themselves to themselves, not to other people, that is a part of growth mindset. So your environment, and this is really not obvious thing, is that a part of your environment is who you follow. I got rid of all the people who are wasting my time on Instagram. Okay, I try to skip the home page, the recommendation page, and only see people who I follow because they are part of my growth environment. You know that there are plus people and minus people. Plus people who you get something from, and minus people who only take something from you. They're consumers. They're consume your energies, minus people. And plus people, someone who always give you something. So to be growing and to create this opportunity of growth for you, be around people who are plus, who you take something from, okay? And especially when you select an organization, if you like, this is also a part of my course, how to do proper research on your organization. You have to align your values. You have to align values with people, with the culture statement of the company that you apply for. Если ваша компания, в которую вы appliaетесь, не о том, чтобы, я не знаю, там, отправлять ракеты в космос, не о том, чтобы быть суперсовременными, не о том, чтобы пользоваться последними языками программирования, а которые консерваторы и сидят в 1С, так может вам не подходит, эта компания. Ребят, нужно постоянно, надо делать домашнее задание во всем. Готовиться, ресерчить. Если у компании, в центре вселенной стоит Кидалова, понимаете, или пофолловите фаундера. По фаундерам, номер один совет по культуре организации, потому что мы когда создавали компанию, да, все равно вся культура это клонирование, это копия поведения фаундеров. Вот какие фаундеры, такая и будет культура на начальном этапе. Потом уже приходят HR и пытаются как-то внести свой какой-то там компонент. Но очень сложно поменять культуру, когда люди во главе, например, они врут. Или они говорят секретарю: скажи, что я занят, я сейчас не могу. И люди впитывают это. Это как дети. Знаете, у детей такая штука есть. Дети никогда не будут делать то, что вы говорите. Но зато они идеально скопируют то, что вы делаете. То же самое и сотрудники. Поэтому посмотрите на фолловеров. Check what founder of the company does. And this will be a good indicator of the culture within the organization. Okay? Yes, that's right. Helpful. I tried it earlier, but it's difficult. I will try to start it again and wisely use it. Thank you. You're welcome, my man. I'm so proud of people who want to work on themselves, who want to grow, who ask good questions, because this is a part of our mindset. It's predicated on what questions you ask. In psychology, these questions asked are known as affirmations. Affirmations are positive statement. Affirmations are positive questions. So if you ask questions, how can I become better? How can I make more money? How can I find people who will be the best versions of themselves? You will find answers. So ask positive, grow mentality questions, guys. Right, so once again, guys, I'm so grateful that you're joining. Yeah, we're talking about how to pass job interviews in English, all this stuff, and I see so many people joining that I don't want to finish this interview. Yeah, it's like you interviewing me. You have any other questions, guys? Є якісь питання, можливо, про курс мій? Ще раз про курс. Курс повний по підготовці від 2 тижнів до 8 тижнів, на якому ви з моїм менторингом будете готуватися, як конструювати правильні відповіді на англійській. Ви будете зі мною симулювати співбесіди. Я буду вам допомагати. 24 записаних урока в курсі, да? Повністю мій авторський курс. Полностью на моем опыте в найме в международных компаниях. Поэтому я скину ссылку в историях сегодня, позже посмотрите. Есть бесплатная консультация, с вами созвонимся. Если вы не уверены, я вам расскажу, подходит вам курс или нет. Because my ultimate desire is to help you. If you pay me $200 right now and you ain't gonna be able to get a job that you need, I'm gonna give you the money back, basically. I'm ready, because if you follow my methodology really strictly, you don't relax on my course, but you put in work, I promise that without even having such a great command of English, you will get into a company that you want. Because it's a matter of preparation, it's a matter of expecting the questions that they're gonna ask. It's a matter of preparing your own questions. It's a matter of researching the company. It's a matter of psychological preparation. And we all gonna cover this in our course. Guys, some other questions with regard to job employment, passing job interviews in English, international companies. For all of you who live in Europe, in the UK, in the United States, any other questions? I can answer 2 more questions if you have. You can send questions in English, in Ukrainian, or in Russian. We discussed red flags. The recording of this video will be available. We have discussed red flags. We have discussed in HR. We have discussed a lot of things. You're an amazing and intelligent audience, and I take great pride in helping you guys. Hope my answers were helpful. Some questions, guys. A couple more questions with regard to employment, to advancing your career in English, in learning English for career needs, anything. Thank you for sending me likes, guys. I'm so thankful, because when you send me likes, I think I get more exposure. All right. So questions, guys. Some questions maybe from newcomers with respect to passing job interview in English. If not, we will. Thank you. You're welcome, Sophie. You are welcome. You are welcome. Ви знаєте, мені здається, я так довго шукав product market fit. Це з бізнесу термін, коли те, що ти знаєш, воно збігається з тим, що потрібно. І нарешті, я 5 років, мабуть, шукав. Я запускав бізнес у Китаї, школу англійського для дошколярів, китайців. Потім для дорослих англійську робив в Китаї. Потім що я тільки не робив, але нарешті мені здається, що моя кваліфікація, як людини, яка робила міжнародний бізнес і найму, вона нарешті знайшла свого глядача і свій попит. So I'm super thankful, guys. I hope that some of you will register maybe and apply for, sign up for my course. And yeah, I'm super determined to help you. God bless you all, guys. Слава Україні! Все, до побачення, друзі.